Hey, what's up, party people? We are live talking about The Transformers, the movie, 1986. I'm Spencer J. Gilbert. That is Lon Harris. We'll be talking about our deepest thoughts about this really chewy film. There's a lot to chew on there.
So much going on.
So much happening. And then we will tell you, we're going to watch it together. We'll show you some deleted scenes. We'll do some Q&A, so put any of your deepest, darkest questions about Energon.
Which Transformer is which, though, please.
Don't ask us which one of these goddamn robots is which.
Laserbeak! Like, that's the one with a beak. Okay, I've got you that far.
Once they say their name out loud, it makes sense. Like, oh, Soundwave, Boombox, duh. But if you line them up, this is not to be offensive, but if you line up all the Transformers, I couldn't pick a single one of them out.
Yeah, deeply offended the Generation 1 Transformer fans.
That's it. Optimus Prime's the big truck. And then we'll tease you with next week's episode. So, yeah, let's dive right in. Granted, I did say I was dismissive of the individual properties of each Transformer right off the bat, but this movie does rock. This movie's great.
This is more, I feel like so many of the other Transformers movies, you get a little spritz of what you want, and then it's like an hour of Shia LaBeouf acting like he's on a bunch of blow, and Josh Duhamel.
I remember watching the cartoon growing up where it was like, well, we don't really have the budget to make them move or fight outside of a few insert shots where they turn into something or throw a punch at the end. This was like all climax.
Yeah,
it was all the climax of every cartoon strung together.
Just like the robots gotta fight, and
The robots gotta fight,
and this is just wall to wall, just robots shooting lasers at other robots and violently blowing each other away, and I think that it's the good stuff.
And it really helps that they're all robots, and I hope that there's not one of those robot android cyborg psychos in the comments right now. They're all robots. They say it says it in the thing. They're robots.
They're robots in disguise.
Robots in disguise.
It's right there. Yeah.
So it helps that they're all robots because that gives them license to, in a children's movie, just make them kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Just absolutely fight. Whereas, Ninja Turtles had to pull their punches. They had to, Michelangelo's swinging links of salami around at a foot soldier.
We are watching, I won't give away what we're watching for next week, but next week we're watching something that's a lot of action that was made for television. Yeah. And it really suffers from that, the A-Team thing where they've got to shoot the boxes that are above the bad guys so that the stuff topples onto the bad guys. Because you can't shoot somebody.
You can't shoot a person on television.
But in Transformers, you could just rip their heads off.
Yeah,
Who cares?
Fascinating that this was, I guess this was just a time before parents noticed or cared, because this is just nonstop violence and war from start to finish.
Well, but it's cartoons, and so it's
fine.
It's not seen as bloody or gruesome, so I don't think anybody. Because it's fascinating that is sort of. I've been rewatching some of the Michael Bay's just in the background, just because the new one's coming out. And in 3, the final fight between Optimus Prime and Megatron is so brutal. He axes him in the head and then uses the axe to pull Megatron's head off, and that would be X-rated.
Well, it seems like Michael
Bay,
Bay, in his defense, is keeping true to the spirit of Transformers because you can't tell any of them apart, and they're actually really, really hurting each other.
Right? Yeah,
so, yeah,
the good stuff.
He did it.
I just don't like their squishy faces in his movies. That's the one thing that really bothers
too many
me.
Tendrils.
It's too organic, and they're robot. They're robots from space. They're alive robots, but they're still robots. And I feel like he tries to make them too much like real organic.
He went too far in the organic department. He should have gone more towards a Camaro or an IROC Z. More boxy.
And the other while we're on it, the major complaint I have about the live action Michael Bay ones as opposed to this is, why did they drop the transforming sound effect? That's such a trademark thing.
Yeah,
and when they play it,
on that.
And when they play it in this movie, you're like, hell yeah, that's the sound of a robot transforming. I know exactly what that is. And they just not using it in the movie seems like such a waste to me.
Somebody might know what's the deal between the Foley artist who created that sound.
Yeah,
someone let us know what that
very
sound
distinctive transforming sound that I'm sure fans, as soon as I said that, were like, you're hearing it in your head. It's never been the sound effect for any other thing. Yeah, no other. That sound doesn't exist in nature. It's not. There's no bird that sounds like that. That's exclusively a transformer.
Oh. Restarting. Waiting for restarts. So our sound's out of sync. Well, this has actually been dubbed over from English. We were initially speaking Japanese, and then we hired ourselves to come in and do
Bozo did the dub. totally off the air right now. All right.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Oh wait, back to English. Okay, fine.
As far as that's as much Japanese as we know.
Yeah, let's just get into. All right, let's just get into the trailer. Let's watch together in sync, you and me, The Transformers, the movie, 1986.
Treasure of the Lost Lamb.
Good year.
You're so burned out after 10 years of Transformers mayhem.
She's a minor. We're protected by the Romeo and Juliet laws. Statute 2705-3.
That's crazy.
That you kind of skip the only good one. But before Paramount resorts to bestiality,
What were they thinking?
return to a film
Pause.
so 80s.
It's such a crazy
turn into
scene.
boom.
Because
Pause,
there's so many strange things going on at once.
We're still talking about the Romeo and Juliet
Law
law
scene.
sequence from
Transformers
Age of
4.
Extinction.
Yeah. He's Irish?
Yes.
He's inexplicably Irish. Mm-hmm. And he's bragging to Mark Wahlberg like, I'm actually a rally driver for... totally wrong accent. He's an Irish guy. So
Yeah. I'm actually a rally driver.
rally
don't you know?
driver.
Hi.
I'm rally driving. I'm sponsored by Red Bull.
I want to work on my fiddle music. You're not my friend anymore. Oh, no.
I think we're
that's
getting
the
Scottish.
That's the other.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't.
So that's insane already that like you have this Irish guy talking about being a rally car driver for Red Bull in Texas.
Yeah.
So Mark Wahlberg is understandably confused. Sometimes he just looks confused. This time I buy it. And then his daughter has been his co-pilot.
Yeah.
In the rally car. She's his navigator, and he doesn't know any of this. Bad dad, right?
I mean, you would think you would have heard something.
And then he pulls out the laminated card that says he can.
He's allowed to have sex with
a
this
17-year-old
underage girl. Yeah.
A card he uses so much.
Like you do, as
he
one
keeps
does.
it in his wallet.
That was actually Michael Bay's card. He just lent the actor
There it is.
for the scene.
Michael Bay had one in his.
He was like, "Oh, just use mine. Just use mine." Like how that the wallet from Pulp Fiction was Quentin Tarantino's.
Yeah.
It's Michael Bay's Romeo and Juliet.
All right,
Laminated card.
let's get back to the 80s movie.
Return to a film so 80s. Two different robots turn into boomboxes.
Hell yeah.
And their cassette tapes fight each other.
There it is.
Audacious. The Transformers, the movie. Buckle up for a film that feels like Game of Thrones, but for cartoon robots that turn into things.
I nominate myself as the new leader.
As two opposing sides of murder bots murder the out of each other for 90 minutes straight. That doesn't even pause to mourn the deaths of long-running characters until they force children to watch the life slowly drain from Optimus Prime's body. Because the only thing more ruthless than this script is the shameless corporate greed that inspired it.
The reality is, at the time, it was a toy show. We just thought we were killing off the old product line, introducing a new product.
So
Gnarly.
The audacity.
Oh my God.
And total disconnect between their audience and the team behind it. I'd be like, we just murdered Optimus Prime. He dies in the first 10 minutes, but then they get a new toy. So like, you're happy, right, kid?
Yeah, it's such an interesting like failure to understand how kids play with toys, which is their whole job. Like if you're a toy maker. And how you not think about, like, well, kids are going to be upset if you kill their favorite toy. That's not
And they
fun.
had the right idea with Megatron, where it's like, okay, he gets a new suit of armor, so they have to buy a new one.
Like, it's obviously, like, update the toy.
Yeah.
Like here's the version 2, the new, he's got to get new armor and weapons. But you don't murder them all on screen. And it's so brutal. It's like they don't even get to, like, they don't die heroic deaths. They just get gunned down.
And I'll say
replaced.
this, made for a much better film. Horribly misguided decision, made for a better movie.
Well, now going back, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And nobody has plot armor. Normally, you'd be like, well, Optimus Prime, he'll have to come back at the end. No.
That's
just
the thing.
dead
is
permanently.
You do hold out hope that at the very end, Optimus Prime will be resurrected or reborn or something like that. But no.
I also went. I didn't end up getting any jokes out of it, but a lot of the like Tubi and all of those free services have the full classic Transformers cartoon.
Yeah.
So I went and watched like the few episodes that go chronologically after the
this,
movie,
yeah.
and they are so like Rodimus Prime is like, well, I guess we're back on Cybertron. Should restart society. Like even the show feels like they don't know what to do. Like everybody's dead and like we won. I guess
should we do some research?
Build a new post office. Like, Just like it's like it takes them 2 or 3
I'm gonna
episodes
try
to, like...
turning into a griddle.
Yeah.
Check this out.
The other thing is when they're on Cybertron, there really is no need to. You're not transforming to disguise yourself.
They're not in disguise.
Yeah, there's no humans.
Was the lore that like we got our designs for trucks from them?
No, I think it's that they come to a new planet and then they scan
something.
whatever the tech is there, and then they learn how to turn into it so they can like hide out. I think.
Noted.
I'm sure there's fans watching. Like,
but then why
not
were
exactly.
They, going off the Bay continuity, they've been around since the times of Merlin.
Right. Michael Bay added that they've been like watching over human society this whole time, but I don't think that's the
turning into
cartoon.
like a mill. It turned into like a
windmill. Well, he also introduces the Witwickians, which we'll get into here. But like I think that was a new Bay wrinkle as well.
Boy. All right, keep going.
Yeah.
You're used to a world where Transformers movies are 90% Josh Duhamel, 10% fighting robots. Now watch them flip that ratio for better or worse. In this timeless adventure about a new generation of Autobots tasked to save Cybertron, and wow, it does not go well for them.
Correct.
How is that not the destruction
Tremble
of
in fear
Cybertron?
at the dawn of Unicron, a planet-eating god that's part Galactus and part Mega made from Spaceballs. He's voiced by cinema legend Orson Welles, or at least the dying wheezes of cinema legend Orson Welles, buried under layers of synth.
Unicron.
In a performance he couldn't have cared less about if it were a Paul Mason wine commercial.
Action, please.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
Excellence.
Are you ready to...
So yeah, this role killed Orson Welles. He did.
It was
He died,
already
like 5 days later.
yeah, I think a lot.
Also,
heavy drinking.
Final
also.
role of Scatman Crothers. He died like a month later after this. And yeah, I was watching some behind the scenes stuff, and they were
Hard Living also partly responsible for Orson Welles' demise, not just the Transformers.
I don't remember. It must have been the directors talking about how he came in and did his part, and it was completely unusable. They were just like, this does not sound like a living planet, and they had 12 different synthesizers that they were running his voice through to get it to that point.
I mean, it was like an infamous sort of thing at the end of his career where he would take these like voiceover roles and show up.
What else has he done?
Well, there's
Paul Masson.
There was the frozen food, the bird's eye.
The peas, where he's chewing them out.
They make fun of that on The Critic, but that was based on a real thing where he objected to the ad copy they wanted him to read, and so he was like, there's audio of him yelling at the sound engineer. But I think there were a few more of these kinds of incidents too. It was just like, he was a cantankerous guy at the end of his life, and he was a little bitter that he'd never gotten to finish like a lot of his films and never got to sort of continue his film directing career, and
You know what I did this morning? I played the voice of a toy. Some terrible robot toy from Japan that changed from one thing to another.
Yeah.
This should have been our title for the movie. I play a planet. I menace somebody called something or other, then I'm destroyed.
There you go.
Yeah.
That sums it up. That's basically long and the short of it.
He's great. But now with AI, we can make him be Omicron
well, thank goodness
forever.
we can bring him back.
We can bring him
Omicron.
back.
Citizen Kane 2.
We can trap his soul in the body of Omicron.
It would sound the same. Like Orson Welles, if you actually trapped his soul inside of a planet, they'd be like,
oh, God.
Oh, my God, I'm going to kill you.
All right, keep going.
Are you ready to rock? Because this movie has the best 80s music since Rocky IV, featuring the composer who scored Rocky IV, with enough hair metal jammed into every second to kick off a combiner's worth of 80s satanic panic, featuring hits like Stan Bush's power rock ballad, The Touch.
You got the touch.
Stan Bush's power rock ballad, The Touch, again.
You got the touch.
And Stan Bush's power rock ballad, The Touch, one more time for good measure.
You got the touch.
A rock ballad so powerful, Stan Bush wrote it for Sylvester Stallone's Cobra, and is probably why Mark Wahlberg joined the franchise down the line.
You got the touch.
We salute you, Mr. Bush. Tired of modern Transformers?
Yeah, just Stan Bush has got to be of like the Survivors, the that era of stuff, he's my favorite. I think.
Wow.
I think he's
number
probably,
one.
Probably
Yeah.
number one. There's another guy. I'm blanking on his name. He does the like the Rad soundtrack, among others.
I know Bay also in Ambulance. He brought back that Christopher Cross classic Sailing.
Oh,
too,
that's great.
Which is a similar era, similar kind of sound.
John Farnham. I also love.
Oh, John Farnham,
Yeah.
sure.
But I do think that Dare is probably my favorite song off this soundtrack, more so than the Touch. Dare, da, 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 da,
Not Weird Al's Dare to Be
Survive.
Stupid.
I love Weird Al. I thought that was a strange choice.
It's a very strange choice. It's probably the only action scene in cinema history that's set to a Weird Al song that I can think of.
That choice to make a profoundly stupid scene from a movie scored by Dare to Be Stupid, is this meta commentary, or is it just like, this is funny?
I think it's just literally like the it's got a really like aggressive, fast-paced driving sound, and they're like, robots could fight over this.
That's the mark of a good song.
Yeah, it's like I could envision robots fighting while this plays in the background. Therefore, put
Taylor
it on
Swift?
the soundtrack.
No.
Yeah.
Can't imagine robots fighting over it. Not for me.
No.
All right, keep going.
Yeah.
Franchises that take forever to get to the fan favorite cash-ins, I mean characters. Well, strap in as Hasbro desperately tries to hold the attention of an 8-year-old audience all hopped up on new Coke.
I'm trying to get them into the shuttle, Ultra Magnus, because I know he can't launch the shuttle until I get them into the shuttle, but I can't seem to get them into the shuttle because they're impossible.
From the Insecticons
The Insecticons, you're in our way.
to the Dinobots
Dinobots, destroy Devastator.
to the Constructicons,
Constructicons, merge for the kill.
the Sharkticons,
The world of the savage Sharkticons
the Quintessons,
and their cruel masters, the Quintessons.
to a living version of the Junkyard where all of these toys live now.
So say the champion.
Collect them all. No, seriously. By law, we're not allowed to finish the trailer until you go buy a toy. After the film is done killing childhoods,
Oh, what are we gonna do now?
Pause.
meet the
They were scared for some reason that this would get a G rating.
Well, we found that on the internet. I
No,
don't know.
I
Is
saw
that
them.
true?
It was in the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Because I did see people saying that online, but I didn't see confirmation.
That is why they dropped that in there. Is they were concerned that a G rating would be death in theaters. Kids,
Teenage boys wouldn't want to go see a G.
Yeah.
They would associate that with like Disney cartoons or whatever was
they
the
needed
concern.
a PG. It wasn't behind the scenes. It was a Comic-Con appearance from the writer or something like that I watched, and he talks about how they just had the guy say shit just for no reason.
Yeah, it's just one. And I think there was like at the time I remember people were debating like, does he say? He might say shoot. I think he says shoot. It's like it's very clearly that he says shit.
But you have so much murder in this film. Were you really concerned that this was? You see the smoke come out of their dead mouth. Optimus Prime's dying words. This was not going to be a G movie.
They get a lot of mileage out of the fact that they're not human. So like you can show their bodies being ripped apart. And it's not violent.
But I guess that child's dad almost gets boiled in acid right in front of him.
Oh well, yeah. Spike is a terrible dad, and poor Daniel has been abandoned with Robot. Like his dad just left him, left the planet.
Where's mom?
Left him in the care of these robots. And like, are you sure you trust these alien robots to know what's best for your human boy?
Also, PG-13 couldn't have been, or PG. That rating system must have been shaken up because it was Temple of Doom, right? Which when did that come out? 80.
Yeah. No, I mean that was before this.
Yeah.
I believe PG-13 existed at this point, but this movie was not.
Maybe they were just confused. Because now I feel like you put curses in there to get to a PG-13.
Right. Although the standards have changed because I remember Spaceballs was PG and that has an F-bomb in it.
Oh, interesting.
Rick Moranis says, even in the future, nothing works.
Yeah.
And like, I remember that specifically because as a kid, I think that was one of the first F-bombs I'd heard in a movie. I was like, oh my God.
That should be a 13 and up movie just because you won't get half the jokes. Granted, I watched it from preschool on.
Yeah, adult themes, I guess, are what you'd call it. But it's very like sexual.
It's so funny what you miss.
Yeah, you just don't pick up on it. But there's not like nudity in it. Or
like I was rewatching Ace Ventura that I watched a million times. As
there's an early scene in
and
that.
I finally understand what's happening when he's holding the ceiling fan.
You hear his pants unzip. But as a child, you're like,
I thought she was just spinning him around real fast. It was fun.
Yeah.
Now you know. All right, keep going.
Placement bots like Ultra Magnus, another big truck, but without the nuts.
Cup and Hot Rod just bought it.
I can't deal with that now.
A cocaine.
What about me, Magnus? What about me? I can help. I want to help. What about me?
RC, the only female Transformer who raises all the same uncomfortable questions posed by the existence of Smurfette. Wheelie, a weird rhyming homeschooled kid.
You go wrong way. You fool, I say.
Judd Nelson's Hot Rod, who's not the stepdad, but the dad who stepped up.
Fish are jumping today, huh, Dano?
And Daniel Witwicky, a child both adopted and abandoned by the Autobots.
What do I do?
Transform, transform. You can do it. I know you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, transform. You're a human, but do it.
It would one day produce Shia LaBeouf.
So the Witwickians. Pause. I forgot that was a mythical bloodline by the end of these things.
Well, I think that's a Bay thing.
Yeah.
In the classic '80s cartoon, it's just a father and son, and their name is Witwicky.
Yeah.
And then Bay was like, "Oh, I'm going to make that the name of Shia LaBeouf's character as kind of continuity."
Little nod.
But then by the end of the Bay movies, yeah, he's introduced like throughout history, humans have helped out the Transformers that are all part of like an elite secret club called the Witwickians, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
And then the timelines don't exactly match up because, as we know, this movie takes place in the year 2005.
The shocking future year of 2005.
I would never set some. How far in the future would you have to go before you were like setting a full sci-fi story with interstellar travel?
Got to figure hundreds of years.
There's no way in 1986 I'm calling, what, 20 years?
Yeah, they were like, by 20 years from now, we'll be sending traffic back and forth to Cybertron all the time. I mean, that's obviously
100 years, absolute minimum. Probably 200.
I mean, I guess the idea would be once you've broken the seal, like once first contact is made, then the aliens are just like, well, here's everything you need to come fly to space all the time. And then it's game on,
Yeah,
it's like in the MCU. It's still in MCU time. It's what, a decade after like Iron Man, and like how different is the world? Like once you jump into being a comic book world, it's all over.
That's a good point. Yeah, they've been through a lot.
Oh my God!
Half of them disappeared.
There's a dead Eternal poking out of the Arctic, and they haven't even gotten around to it yet.
Asgard selling Thanos ice cream.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
Keep going.
Thanos. That's dead.
No. So return to the year 2005.
It is the year 2005.
For a toy commercial that has no right to kick as much ass as it does.
I got better things to do tonight than die.
That may be kind of light on your actual favorite Transformers.
Soon, I shall be one with the Matrix.
But hey, look, it's Astro Train. He turns into a train that's also a rocket. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, you never know when you're gonna need a old-timey space train who's also a rocket. Why did we kill this guy off again?
It's like even this movie recognizes he's the best one.
It's the surprise return of Optimus Prime, coming soon to the Transformers.
Oh, thank Primus. Starring Dumps Like a Truck. We have Optimus Prime at home. I think I'm a gun now. Orbit Wells. Unsolved Matrices. Is that canon? I'm the Scat Man. Beep boop bop beep bop boop.
G is for Grimlock. That good enough for me?
Ancient aliens that are also robots. The storyline.
Energon, Spock, grin, wink, wink, slay them all.
NOS is a hell of a drug. Real Autobots have curves. My name is Danny. The D is for Dingus. King for a day. And, okay, the cool charismatic guy with a sword is right there, and he's not getting the Matrix? The assassination of Optimus Prime by the coward Hasbro. Hey, if you thought this movie was too much for kids, wait until Breast Force and Headmaster show up. Transformers can be weird, man.
It sure can.
Yeah.
So let's just say we consulted with some Transformers fans on this one who had some things to say about Breast Force and that one at the end for who should have inherited the Matrix and stuff like that.
You got to consult experts.
Yeah, you have to consult some experts.
I was, when I was like 8 years old, I was very into this. This was a franchise that was very important to me as a kid. I forget. Even going back to this movie, which I know I saw in theaters and a bunch of times, I didn't really remember a lot of it. You just get old.
Yeah. See, all of my favorite things are dead. And they died very early. I was into Pirates of Dark Water.
Oh, sure.
Fantastic show.
I remember that.
Samurai Pizza Cats.
That one
shortly lived. Yeah.
Right over my head.
It was a very obvious Japanese riff on
Ninja Turtles.
I
think we all got there.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I figured that out, but I don't remember it.
Thank you all for watching to this point. We have more coming up. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to show you some deleted scenes. Hit like and hit subscribe and watch the other videos on Fandom Entertainment. They're pretty good. That's my pitch. Pretty good. But for now, let's watch the outtakes from the Transformers on Australia. Check it out.
Starring Peter Cold, Ice Road Trucker.
It's me, Bender. No, the other one.
Hello, fellow kids. I like bots that were Abercrombie and Fitch. Preppy Bot. Neggingtron.
You're an idiot, Starscream.
Guns don't kill people. People that turn into guns kill people. And also guns. Ego. And also the voice of a living planet. Stack Party. Spacely Spockets. Live long and process. Purple rain. Purple rain. Remember to wax for a great shining. Jurassic Spark. Antique Roadshow. B-Movie. Bumblecore. The Full Monty. Autobot Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Mamdroid. Dan Daniel. Back at it again in the white exosuit. Wesley Crusher. And Bottom Gun. Hasbro's Cars. Want a cyber?
That was mine.
So Laserbeak can turn into a cassette tape and fly inside Soundwave, and then Soundwave plays him? That's at least 5% sexual, right? You're gonna have to tone this down for a PG.
It's like, oh man. Like, I just imagine
Come inside me.
Yeah, like Laserbeak flying out of him. It's like, does that feel good when you're in there? Like, what is it
relieved,
like?
aroused, both?
Yeah.
I can't wait to be inside you.
Like, it's just like this shouldn't be.
This is getting cybery right now.
Figure out a way to do it that different.
All right. So, FJ Pretzer asks, is this a franchise that works better in animation, or could it work in live action had Bay never been involved? I feel like the good one was a fluke at this time. I don't know. I liked Bumblebee. I thought it was like at least promising that, okay,
I like Bumblebee too. It has that opening sequence on Cybertron where it's all robots and it's awesome and it feels like the 80s
but I don't
movie.
think you could do 90 minutes of that. But you could have that.
I think you could. Like, I honestly think you could do it very much like the 80s movie where you have human characters. I'm not saying no humans at all, but you don't have to have them be the leads. I don't think you need to do Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky
Danny and
anymore. Yeah, I think they could be they're in the mix. But like it can mostly be a robot movie. Like we've had an Apes movie and those.
That's right.
Like you could do it.
Great
We just had a blue alien movie and it's like they're mostly Na'vi. There's a few humans in there.
Yeah.
There's some scenes where Spider is the only person jumping around.
Just make an Avatar 2 level dedication to your craft to make another Transformers movie.
Just saying, like James Cameron.
James
come
Cameron
on.
did it.
Avatar 3, Transformers, and Avatar 4. One for you, one for us.
Evan J. Pretzer also follows up with that. He's off for a trip to London, Dublin, and Barcelona. Do you have any recommendations for any of those three cities?
Oh, I've only been to London out of those three. But sure, I really enjoyed the first day I was in London. I took a river boat down the Thames and like they point out all the stuff. And, like, that was great because it gives you, like, a real layout of the city. And, like, here are other things I know I want to see and other things I don't care about. And, like, it's a good first day in London thing if you've never been to the city before. And it's just cool to go in a riverboat down the Thames. You go under the Tower Bridge, and it's cool.
Yeah, I'll give you it closed permanently due to the pandemic. Oh, well.
I also,
I guess you'll never know.
One more cool place I went on Fleet Street, there's a pub called Ye Old Cheshire Cheese that's, like, it goes back to, like, the 1500s and like Dr. Johnson used to drink there and stuff. So like that's cool. There's no places in America that are that old.
Nice. Yeah, nothing's old here.
Yeah. So I had fun there.
Radar City Update Channel. Which iconic director should do a future toy film? He suggests for example, Wes Anderson for My Little Pony. I do think Wes Anderson, not that one, but I do think Wes Anderson would be well suited for a toy commercial just because he seems, or a toy movie, because he's so precious about arranging things and putting them in their little place.
Yeah, I feel like a classic toy, like Mystery Date or something like a 50s or 60s toy, that would be perfect for that kind of like Wes Anderson.
He does seem kind of twee enough that he would just love playing with toys for an entire movie.
I mean, I think the answer to me is you want Justin Lin, you want Vin Diesel collabing on that Street Sharks movie, right?
Hand Shark! Yeah.
Isn't that what we all
That's
want?
what we all want.
Isn't that what the people want?
That's what the people want.
I think we demand the street trucks. And now that Dwayne and Vin are friends again. Perfect. Team up for the Street Sharks.
Luis Valenzuela says, if you had to go out in a blaze of glory like Optimus did, what song would you be blasting? What's your blaze of glory song? Mine is The Touch, because I'm basic.
Can Monday dare to be stupid?
Dare to be stupid.
No, I go with a different Weird Al song. We'll go
Harvey
with
the Super Hamster.
Yes. Yeah, I think you got it.
I'll go with Timber by Pitbull featuring Kesha. It's going down.
I'm yelling Timber. Took me a second. I was like, Tim, I know that I recognize that title.
Also from Raynard City, what would be the worst thing for a robot to transform into? Example, a bowl of soup.
That's a straight up movie fight squad. I might have written that down for movie fights before. That feels exactly like
that's great. Yeah.
And everybody would always have a dirty answer.
Oh, vibrating anal beads.
We'd have to go back and be like, nah, don't do that.
I mean, it's bad.
We'll have to talk about it for 20 minutes, and you're going to get tired of talking about
It'd be a good speed run.
Yeah. I think what would be fun is when it's like very in the moment technology that gets outdated very quickly. Like Hellraiser 3, it's so fun now that it's like the CD player Cenobite and stuff. So I think you really want like a VR headset.
I'm a mini disc player.
Yeah, like a VR headset transformer.
No, you have to still record onto me like a cassette. It's very complicated.
Yeah, you got to hit both buttons to record and then just one if you want to.
But the quality's way better. It's worth it. Trust me. I had a mini disc player.
A transformer that turns into like a GoPro. So it's just like very tied to like one specific era. And then he's like, oh, I guess I should change what I turn into. Nobody has a GoPro anymore.
Let's see. So there's lots of good ones. James Bond, what 80s cartoon do you want them to bring back? Like Thundercats with the cats CG? That'd be something.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I want Pirates of Dark Water back. I think there's room for more than one Pirates franchise at a time, and Pirates of the Caribbean doesn't seem to be doing much. So it was great. You had the monkey bird. That's gonna be horrifying in live action.
Yeah. I mean, from the 80s, for sure, I feel like we're overdue for Masters of the Universe in a cartoon. Like, we've got those Netflix cartoons, which are pretty good. I'm not complaining. But, like, I'm ready for the big live action Eternia film that really gets to do it. Because the 80s one, they didn't have the budget. So it's mostly just like in suburbia, but Dolph Lundgren is He-Man. And I think the stage is set now. We have the technology, the interest level is there to really do it splashy big the way it's supposed to be. We have the technology. We could finally realize James Cameron could finally spend $2 billion realizing Eternia on screen. I don't even think it would be that. I really don't think it would even be that hard. Like, if you could make a Middle Earth show for Amazon, you could put Eternia on the big screen.
Wow, because it has such a proven track record of success.
I mean, listen, it looked fine. People didn't watch it, but
and we'll end with this. D.A. Baracus, why wasn't Joe a part of this? Well, can't say. Saying them all.
Yeah,
wink,
nudge, wink, wink. Saying them all. Well, no, Joe does not. Joe doesn't work here anymore. Joe works for a different company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And then finally, Benzai 10, are you guys looking forward to doing the Oz trailer for the new Rise of the Beast Transformers, or are we going to act like it won't exist? I think we'll do it. I don't know.
I mean, act like it won't exist.
We've done like almost all the Transformers. We haven't done Dark Side of the Moon.
That's the one I just watched.
Yeah, or Bumblebee.
Okay.
So we've got those in our pocket if we need to. But yeah, I think we'll probably dip it. Is this one supposed to be good? What are we hearing?
The reviews have been like solid. I feel like it's like
I wouldn't expect it to be beloved.
I think people are saying better than the Michael Bays that turned everyone off, but is it good enough to win people back? Remains to be seen. So like we'll see. But it's the guy who directed Creed 2, which I thought was pretty good.
I like that.
So like who knows? Who's to say?
I'd check it out. It'd be weird if that got really great reviews.
I think whether we do it, it really depends on whether you all go see it. Like, if it's a huge hit, we'll definitely do it. And if nobody goes to see it, we definitely won't do it. And if it's in the middle, we'll have to figure it out.
We only do huge hits here, like next week's Oz trailer.
Okay, bad example, but you know what I mean. We have to do things if they're huge. Like, when Super Mario came out, there was no chance we weren't going to do it because it was such a huge film.
Yeah.
That's all I mean.
Well, next week's one will be speeding onto your
But
screens.
it's based
next
around.
week.
We're doing it because
It's obviously
there's
a
big
tie-in,
film.
of course.
Yeah.
But
not this thing we're doing.
Not this thing.
Nobody likes this thing we're doing.
No one's ever liked this thing.
Me included, and I'm the one watching it. Miserable.
Can't wait.
Nightmare.
I don't know if that's enough of a clue, but
it's probably not. But
for once, we won't give it away.
Who
It'll
even
be a nice
remembers
surprise.
this is a real thing?
Yeah. Or are we being tricky about what our clue is for next week? So there's your clues. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday right here on Australia Commentaries. Bye-bye.